Forgive me, Professor Costello. If I were
Yeah.
speaking to President Trump, which is unlikely, I would be putting the opposite of these sorts of questions to him. But you're a former director at the World Health Organization. Now, the head of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros, his background, there are concerns, right? He served in a regime for the People's Liberation Front in Ethiopia, that ruled Ethiopia between 91 and 2018, that was engaged in serious war crimes. And he was the health minister in that regime for that organization, the TPLF. And there are serious concerns that when he was health minister and foreign minister, that there were brutal and genocidal acts going on by that regime. And the only reason he's head of the World Health Organization is because China sponsored him over a British candidate, and that there is a concern as a result that he's slightly indebted to China for the very position he holds. What is your view on that?
Well, he was elected by member states of the world. He's actually the only UN head of an agency that has been elected. The World Bank has an American appointed, UNICEF has an American appointed by the Americans. So it was an open and it was a secret ballot. I think it's unfair.
But China did sponsor his candidacy.
Well, we don't know, actually.
But they did support it. We do know that.
Do you know that?
Well, they were publicly supporting the fact they would hope for him to win, not that they influenced the secret ballot. I'm not suggesting that.
No, I mean, look.
What do you make of him appointing Mugabe, a known war criminal, as a UN goodwill ambassador?
Well, I actually was, as a director, put out a tweet criticising that.
Why do you think the head of the World Health Organization felt it appropriate to put a war criminal as a goodwill ambassador for the organisation that's part of the UN?
Well, I disagreed with that decision. And,
do you think that's partly why Trump is upset, that these sorts of things I'm raising with you? Is there some truth to the fact that Mr. Trump gets, a broken clock can be right twice a day, can't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, you can criticise the actions of Tedros during his time there, as you can criticise his predecessor, Margaret Chan, who's been very supportive of China against Hong Kong, even though she's from Hong Kong. I mean, I agree with you, and I agree that there are some questions to be asked about, Tedros's role when he was in Ethiopia.
I mean, I would suggest appointing Mugabe as a goodwill ambassador.
Yeah, I thought that was I agree with you. Yeah. I think that was a mistake. Yeah. I put out a tweet the very next day. Yeah. It went viral. And fortunately, pressure was brought to bear. And I think that was evidence of...
congratulations. Yeah. That sounds like you had the impact that you deserved.
I know. I think there were other ambassadors that had an impact on Tedros at that time, because he was fearful then that he would lose. Look, I'm not absolutely defending the WHO in all regards. I would implement a reform program which strengthened the science. You see, there are two sides to WHO. Yeah. One is that it's a political organization, that it has to represent people and give voice to all the member states, but also it does incredibly important scientific work. It led the campaign to eradicate smallpox. It does a huge amount on malaria, on mother and child health, on HIV/AIDS. So, that's the bit we need to defend.
Indeed. So the solution wouldn't be to cut ties with them, would it?
No, absolutely
no.
Not.
We say, and I ask you to say with us, lift up your voices.